Thank you, Justice Lenala.
The IEBC and Chairperson Wafula Chebukati had been allocated 3 hours, 1.5 hours each, to respond to allegations by NASA. First up was IEBC lawyer Paul Mwite, who argued that petitioners ignored IEBC's comprehensive responses. Mwite said that it was next to impossible to rig elections at the polling station level.
The conclusion of the voting, the presidential ballot in a particular polling station would be emptied on the table. The ballot papers would be counted each for each presidential candidate, and the votes cast for each candidate will be entered in handwriting of the presiding officer in Form 34A. These then are aggregated at the constituency level in Form 34B.
Lawyer Paul Nyamodi for IEBC was next in line, tearing into some of the claims made by NASA lawyers. Nyamodi says that the petitioner, who is NASA, impeached results and process. He further says IEBC commissioners have been vilified for no good reason, arguing that elections were carried out in accordance with the law. Nyamodi says all Form 34Bs were received before the winner was declared. He was pressed further by the Chief Justice to explain the provisional results displayed on screens at Bomas.
The electronic form of transmission, that is the image, is the form of transmission that was prescribed by the Court of Appeal in the Maina Kiai decision. According to the Court of Appeal, the image of the form was the result, and I submit that the image was transmitted.
Nyamodi says the electronic system was never compromised, saying those claims that someone hacked into KIEMS cannot be proved and are all hearsay. Issa Mansour, the advocate for the IEBC chairperson, began by tearing into Otiende Amolo's evidence. Mansour argues that there was no irregularity on how forms were filled by returning officers, since there is no requirement for stamping of Forms 34As. He says there was no single result challenged at any polling station, and there was no ungazetted returning officers that filed the forms. The defense lawyers further argue that allegations of inbuilt variance of 11% were totally false. PLO Lumumba says NASA petition lacks foundation.
What we are grappling with is that the people of Kenya in their totality came out on the 8th day of August and expressed their will. This court should be very reluctant to overturn the will of the people of Kenya unless it can be demonstrated that indeed that will was subverted.
Lawyer Lucy Kambuni, also for the IEBC, quoted liberally from the Supreme Court decision in the Raila petition of 2013, saying the threshold in deciding a presidential election petition must be very high.